So Epomaker have a brand new low profile premium keyboard. This is the Luma 84. It comes in two different colorways, black with blue, or there's a white with purple that looks really cool, and two different switch types. There's brown or red, and I have the red one in here for review from Epomaker. Now at $110, that does not really sound too premium in terms of a price tag, but for Epomaker, that's one of their more expensive keyboards. Of all the keyboards of theirs I reviewed, every single one I've concluded, man, that's just a good value. For whatever reason, they are able to just churn out really great keyboards with awesome keys, awesome switches, great chassis, and keep the price pretty low. And they do run sales quite a bit too. So keep all that in mind as we go through this. This is a $110 keyboard with an aluminum chassis that is thin and light, super portable, and will probably go on sale more than once in the next several months. It's just sort of how they roll. Okay, so we have 84 keys to choose from. Every key you can see with a secondary option is listed, is labeled. Sometimes they produce keyboards where they do not list what the secondary option is, and you go into like VIA and you configure it yourself. But in this case, hey, you're good to go. So the keycaps can be removed. The switches can be hot swapped as well if you don't like the low profile Gatorons that are in here. There's again brown or red that you can choose from. There's also 3 different modes of connection. You can connect it directly using USB-C. So right here on the back, you can see that the bottom part here is recessed a little bit. Okay, that's where the USB-C is housed. And then you have an on-off switch, very simple to use. The second mode is a USB-A transmitter. No place to store it, so keep that in mind. And then the third method is Bluetooth, and you can connect up to 3 different Bluetooth devices. So this is one of those keyboards where you're going to have to get used to secondary functions, whether it's the ones on the function row or the ones embedded in the primary keys. You may have to change, if you want to use Bluetooth, for example, you might find yourself doing it here. If you want to switch between Windows and Mac, you'd be doing it here. I switch between Windows and Mac a few times a week. Sometimes I'm on my desktop for gaming. Sometimes I'm on my Mac, and I'm lazy, so I won't switch it. And I'll just, because really this is the key portion here is Windows, the window key and the Apple key. And I'll just try to remember and struggle that way. It's not a big deal. I tend to keep it in Mac mode, but that's just my use. Okay, so the chassis, very smooth, brushed aluminum. The edges are not too sharp. The corners are very well rounded. Take a look at that. I'm gonna try to focus the camera for you. There we go. Very well rounded corners in every corner. And this brushed aluminum has a very cool look to it. It looks a little bit spackled. And it just gives us this nice coating that I think is very premium and nice to use. There you go. Okay, back to business. So let's do a typing test. All right, I just wrote that I love potatoes, but I don't. I'm allergic to them. For some reason, it's what came to my mind. Okay, let's turn it on, get an idea of the colors. So there's different lighting styles out there. This is what I think is called a halo lighting, where it's an underglow. So it looks like the keys are floating on the lights. Let's get up close. Now, of course, in the keyboard itself, physically, you can change the lighting colors and the lighting pattern and the speed. I don't remember offhand, but it's usually something like, function up or something like that. So if you wanted to do that, you can. You can also go into the VIA system, which is, you can just search for it, but it's QMK and VIA customizable. So you can go in there and change the lighting any way you want. I'm pretty sure Microsoft Windows now has a lighting function inside of settings. So if it detects a keyboard with backlighting that's customizable, you can go in there and make those changes. But, I don't know. I don't do that. I tend to just set it and forget it and move on. The battery is 3,000 milliamp hours. Like I mentioned, it's cable wired, 2.4 gigahertz wireless through the dongle, or Bluetooth 5.0. You can connect it to consoles if you wanted to, handhelds. Sometimes I test these things on my Legion Go, but lately I actually have been testing this on my PC because I've been doing this thing where I power walk while I work. If I'm not in a meeting, I'm just like watching a Zoom thing or I'm doing some research, I'll walk on a treadmill underneath my desk. And then when I'm not doing that, I want to sit. So I'll sit down, and when I'm sitting, this is very comfortable for use. but when I'm standing, it's not comfortable because it's so low, it's so thin that it bends my wrist too much. So I don't like to use it in that setting, but it's great for that, those couple of hours where I'm just sitting. It's pretty great. Okay, what else do I need to mention on here? I'm just going through the page. Okay, polling rate, 1000 hertz over USB or 2.4 gigahertz, and it's 125 hertz over Bluetooth 5. Latency is 4 milliseconds on USB, 12 milliseconds on 2.4 gigahertz wireless, or 24 milliseconds on Bluetooth 5. And anti-ghosting is N-key rollover, so keep that in mind. And, actuation. All right, so check this out. So yeah, if you're wondering, this is the Red Magic 10 Air. This thing is awesome. I'm reviewing it, so I just got it in, got it all set up. Okay, so if you have the red switches, then this is what you're looking at. Bring that into view rather. Okay, so trigger force is 50 grams, plus or minus. Pre-travel is 1.7 plus or minus 0.4 millimeters. Total travel 3.2 plus or minus 0.2 millimeters. Spring length 13.5. Now, I'm mentioning all of this because sometimes I'll get comments that I don't explain all this stuff. Well, frankly, I don't understand it all that well. They're numbers, you can compare numbers, but to me, I just need to type on it to know if it's something that is going to work for me. Okay, so these red ones that I have are the linear low profile keys, whereas the brown ones are tactile. So the brown ones would be way more clicky than this. Tactile, meaning you feel it, right? And in case of keys, it means you feel it more, okay? All right, so yeah, that's the Epomaker Luma 84. $110, two different colorways, two different switch types. Very cool, underlighting. I think that looks really nice. My preference, by the way, is that the light shines through the keycaps, but that's just not what you have here. But if you want that, there are a number of Epomaker keyboards where that is available. So it's just a matter of, which one you prefer and do some shopping to see what they have. These guys are awesome. I've been working with them for several months now, and I just feel like they have the best value in keyboards. So if you do like this one, but you don't love it, you go to their website, take a look at what they have. I'll put a link in the description. It will not be monetized because I don't do that. And yeah, tell me what you think about it. All right, catch you on the next one. Cheers.